So we're at dinner last night. Went to a great restaurant. All of a sudden, it's just Seton and myself and McLovin. And McLovin he all of a sudden turns around and he goes, "Oh my God, is that The Bachelor?" And I thought, like, Bono walked in or something. He goes, the TV show, The Bachelor. And I go, I don't know who that is. So McLovin is nervous. He wants to go sit and find out if it's him. He then takes a selfie. So McLovin has his back to The Bachelor. And he's trying to take a selfie to send to his wife so she can acknowledge if that is Chris, The Bachelor. McLovin, would you sign off on all this before we bring in Chris?
Technically all true.
Okay. And then what happened after that, Chris?
Well, I was actually going to walk by and casually come shake your hand and say hi to you, and then you stood up and said, "Hi, Chris." I'm like, how do you know who I am?
Yeah, because McLovin told me. I had no idea. So McLovin's like, oh, my God. No, I got to – my wife has got questions. I got to get a picture. And the picture that you took, McLovin, be honest, did you smile like that when you were married?
Oh, come on.
Did you smile like that when you were married?
I was excited because my wife is a huge Bachelorette fan.
That's what all the guys say.
So,
yeah, and I had him sign something to Andy, my cousin Andrea.
He's Chris Soules, the former Bachelor. And McLovin, you have questions that you'd like to talk to Chris about?
Can I get real here? So,
Yeah.
what happened with Whitney? That's what my wife wants to know.
He never gets that question, right?
Yeah, this is the first time I've gotten that question.
Did you get engaged?
Well, we got engaged on the show.
Okay.
Yeah. And
But is that engaged in real life?
I mean, technically, yeah. I mean, she had a ring and the whole 9 yards, and we tried to make it work and tried to figure things out in the real world. It's much different in the real world than it is on TV, in a dating show. So it's you kind of get an opportunity to, actually experience real life together. And
is there pressure to get engaged on the show?
Not specifically. I mean, they don't pressure you to do it. I think just the whole the whole experience itself lends itself to like making you feel like you want to go through with that, and of course at the end there's the final rose, and it's a really weird experience that's hard to explain unless you've been through it.
Would you do it again?
No.
You answered that pretty quickly.
Yeah, I would never do that again. I mean, I'm glad I did it. It was a great experience, but it's that chapter's passed in my life, and it's a lot of pressure. It's very intense. I mean, if you take it seriously and truly there to find someone, which I was, it's a lot of emotional ups and downs, and it's hard.
Because everybody says the same thing. Oh, you're around 30 women. I mean, come on, it can't be that tough. You got women in bikinis. You got alcohol. You got flying all over, doing all these great romantic things. Yeah, that doesn't sound like it's tough, though, Chris.
I'm not saying that part is, there's that part which is enjoyable, and what you see on TV is enjoyable. But there's real emotions involved, and and it's intense. I mean, we're on 15 hours a day. You're at it, and you're really truly trying to find somebody, and so you're getting emotionally involved with multiple women and dating them at the same time. That takes a lot of it's. I'm not saying it's hard work, but it was emotionally it was very challenging.
Okay, is it easier to spot the good ones or the crazy ones?
Probably crazy.
Yeah,
crazy. I mean, it's
no names, but give me like when you saw Crazy. What did Crazy look like?
You need to watch the show, Dan. You're gonna have to watch the show.
I will, but you have to tell me. Just give me one episode, and then I'll watch that episode.
Watch the episode where I think it's probably week. Do you remember? I think it's week 3.
We're talking about Ashley here? Is that what?
I wasn't going to name names, but now that you said
it. We weren't naming names.
Oh, no, I'm just from observing the show. I have no idea.
So Ashley was crazy.
I mean, she had some moments.
Did they encourage craziness, or was she just crazy?
I think the whole entire situation can affect people in a way that brings out the crazy. I mean, I don't think they. Yeah, I mean, they definitely don't tell you not to act crazy. If you're going to be crazy, they go ahead and be crazy. They love it, but they don't encourage it. They don't try to get you to be crazy. But just the whole entire situation kind of lends itself to Like if you got a little crazy in you, it's going to come out when you're in this, in this environment.
How much alcohol?
As much as you want.
So it's there.
It's there. I mean, they don't push it. I mean, they don't try to, they
But if you need it, it's right there.
It's right there.
Did you drink for different reasons?
I did.
You did.
I did.
We'll take a break here. We're just diving into this. Yes, McLovin.
Wait, real quick, by the way, 70% of the women on the show are named Ashley, so that did not specify one woman at all.
Yeah. And are you allowed to talk about some of the stuff that went on?
I mean, I can talk about things. I mean, it's
because somebody said, you know what? Oh, you know who did that? Let me take a break here because McLovin's wife said, "Don't believe a word that Chris said last night to you." Is that right?
She said that he will be careful about the franchise secrets.
Is that true? Did you lie to us? Okay, I want you to hold that thought right there. I want to know if you lied to us last night about all those things you said, including a woman who kissed like a carp. We'll continue with Chris, the Bachelor. This is the Dan Patrick Show. Chris Soules, the former Bachelor, who is joining us here in the Man Cave. All right, what, McLovin?
I got more Bachelor questions. I don't know how many, I know we got to get back to sports. One more.
Okay. I'll give you one more.
Okay. What's the deal with Nick, who was a finalist in a previous season, getting back on this season's show to go after Caitlyn? And are you okay with that?
I don't know what to say about that. Nick is an interesting guy, and he really seems to enjoy being and wanting to continue to be on the Bachelor franchise. And I mean, I know that he was, I don't know. I don't understand. I know that they instantly, when she was sent off the show, I had heard that he was, they were in contact. He connected with her on Facebook or whatever. And so they were, before she became the Bachelorette, they were already like starting to develop a relationship. So now if I was those guys, I would be very irritated to know that he was back on the show and that she made that decision to allow him to come back, which is, those guys you really do put yourself out there. And especially to the guys that are serious about, developing a relationship with her, to have that going on, it's kind of that's a tough pill to swallow if I'm those other contestants.
All right, I want you to be honest. McLovin's wife said, "Do not believe anything that you told us last night at dinner." Did you lie to us at dinner last night about anything?
There were no lies
whatsoever. Wow. Okay. Did you omit truths at all in there?
Omit? I think I was pretty straightforward with you.
It felt like that. McLovin was like a buzzkill when this morning I came in. He goes, "My wife said, don't believe anything. He's not allowed to tell you anything."
Well, is that true? Do they do you have any kind of signed paper on what you can and can't talk about when you're on it or afterward?
I mean, they definitely want you to be respectful of the franchise. I mean, I'm thankful for the opportunities that I got there, but for the majority of the stuff that went on, there's not a lot that I can't really divulge,
Okay, who kissed like a carp?
I will leave her name out of that, but out of respect for her.
Okay. How deep into the show?
If you watch the show, I would let you guess. You got to guess, McLovin?
I'm going to turn my mic off here. I don't want to get anyone in trouble.
Probably the odds are Ashley.
It was probably an Ashley, but there were 9 of them on the season, so who knows?
Do you know who it was, McLovin?
Of course I know who it was. I watched the show, Dan.
Just give the initial.
I cannot do that.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
Because she's had a rough enough road. That's all I'll say.
But okay, you're a farmer in Iowa.
Yeah.
You got a taste of fame here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough to just say, "Hey, I'll just go back to Iowa and, jump on the combine."
For me, it's not that hard because I really enjoy what I do back there. I mean, it's when I get back there, it's like, this is what I want to do. I'm trying to make the most out of, the opportunities that now I'm having. It's like, it's fun to come to New York, but I'm always glad when I get back there and can get back to normal life. I mean, that's just me being honest. I don't live there. I don't live in Iowa because I want to live in Iowa. I live in Iowa because I love what I do there. And
do people show up at your door?
Yeah.
So women, I'm sure guys
don't. Yeah. Primarily women.
Okay,
yeah.
what happens when the women? Give me a story when the women show up at the farm, because your farm is not
Right.
right. You land in Iowa and there's your farm. You got to travel to go.
You got to make some effort, serious effort. I'm 45 minutes I'm an hour and a half from an airport, and an hour from a city that's over 10,000 population. So you got to make an effort.
Okay, give me your favorite story of a woman showing up.
The most recent story, we were actually in the process of planting corn. I had to run home to update some things on my cell phone. I was sitting at my desk, and I heard a knock, and I turned around, and there's this little boy standing at my door. He's probably 4 years old, and I'm like, what in the hell? And so I get up and I open the door, and he says to me, "Can I ride your tractor?" I said, "I don't have any tractors," and he just proceeds to walk in my house. What's going on here? And I look up, and then there's two ladies sitting at the edge of my driveway that are getting out of their SUV to walk up and then come talk to me. So they walk up, and I was cordial and took pictures with them, and they drove clear from 2.5 hours away from the Quad Cities to come to my house and see me. As I'm sitting there talking to them, finishing up the conversation, trying to get them to leave, another SUV pulls in. I'm like, what? Who in the hell is that? And they're like, what? You have people come to your house that you don't know? I'm like, well, such as yourself, yeah, apparently. And so she proceeds to pull up right to my garage, like she owned the place. And she waited for those other ladies to leave till she got out of her car. And when they left, I walked over and like, can I help you? And she just came up to me and was like, acted like I was her best friend, and
she knows you from TV,
right. And she brought me some candied popcorn and candied pecans, and she said she'd been to my house 3 times and I wasn't there.
Oh boy!
I mean, this is some crazy stuff. So I said, I've got to get going. I got to go back to work. And she's like, well, I really like to get to spend some more time with you. I drove all this way. I'm like, well, I'm sorry. I got things to do.
Did she look to see if you had roses planted out back that you could give her one? I mean, man.
Apparently she'd been to my house enough to know where everything was, because she was very astute to where things were. And she's had actually visited my parents before. After I left, she went and visited my grandma for an hour. Sat with my grandma for an hour. Went and bought her lunch. That's
you know what this is, Chris?
Crazy.
Field of Dreams. It's a different kind of Field of Dreams. And where's Field of Dreams? It's in Iowa, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm the field?
Yeah. I think it's FEEL. It's Field of Dreams. They get to show up and say hello to you. Can you write a book? Oh, no, wait. You were on a cooking show.
Yeah.
Okay, tell everybody who you were on the cooking show with.
I was just on Worst Cooks of America. I'll be on the Food Network in September with an interesting cast. Dean Cain,
Superman.
Yep. Barry Williams, Greg
Brady.
Jaleel White,
Urkel,
and Kendra Wilkinson.
Crazy. I mean, Playmate or whatever she is. Yeah.
And Jenny, Viall.
Oh. So you're the only sane one in that group, aren't you?
Dean Cain is a really good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a lot of fun. Enjoyed meeting all of them.
And back to the farm today?
Yeah. Yep. Flights. I'm flying out at 5 o'clock and headed back to the farm. So.
Well, you have some women there waiting for you. When you
Probably have some surprises at my door. I literally come back and there'll be fan mail laying at my porch, and I get fan mail and emails. It's nonstop.
Chris, it was great to meet you last night. Great sport. And McLovin is. Why are you blushing, McLovin?
Paulie wanted me to say a line there. I will not.
Oh.
And by the way, we didn't get one detail of why it didn't work out with Whitney. I'm just saying.
Well, there really is not much to say. I mean, it was a relationship. She's a great person. She'll be a friend for the rest of my life, and I'll always care about her. It just didn't work out. I mean, it was 2 people that were mature and went into a weird situation, came out, tried to make it work. And
did you get the ring back?
Yes.
You did.
By contract, we have to give the ring back to the
jeweler,
to the jeweler, Neil.
But the next one you have to buy.
Next one I have to buy.
Yeah, when you get engaged for real.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing.
And don't do a rose when you really get engaged.
You know what? If I never see a red rose again, it'll be too soon.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
He's
for
Chris
having me.
Soules, The Bachelor.